Welcome back to the Pokemon Colosseum postgame. Last time we beat the Mount Battle Master at Mount Battle. Now we're actually doing the postgame for real. Also note the Kids Grid again being translated as Kid Network. But anyway, our first location is Pyrite Town. We've heard of some reports saying that a Shadow Pokemon trainer was sighted here. And we heard that from the Kids Grid, or Kid Network, as it keeps getting called. So let's go to Juking's house. That's not Juking's house. Juking's house is over here. Now we get to hear this music again. Now, Juking doesn't really have much new to say. So yeah, he's saying the same thing that he did right after you beat Mirror B. That was a while ago. Anyway, let's go to the bookshelf and go and talk to the leader of the Kids Grid, who's the only one here who has anything new to say. So, once again, Rogue Kale is our lead, so we're going to have to battle him again. Since obviously we can't just have a normal conversation with him without having to battle him. Then again, that's true of pretty much anyone in Pyrite Town. I want to just go ahead and check out the police station for a second, because I want to see if anyone reacts to Mirror B's peons having escaped. Once again, police in Pokemon universes are useless. So yeah, the cells are empty, and they've all made a run for it. So, yeah, there still isn't that much hope for this town. But anyway, let's go ahead and battle Kale. Remember I said earlier that Kale would have a Gardevoir in rematches? Well, we're about to see that. If you remember Kale's team from earlier, yeah, he used to have Snubbull. I think it had evolved into a Gramble last time, but yeah, the levels are a lot higher, and now he has a Gardevoir rather than a Curlier. Just notice there's a kanji on one of the signs back there. Kind of interesting. Anyway, I intentionally led with Kick for... Oh, well, I got intimidated, but let's see if I can carry the Gardevoir through Intimidate. I am very glad that Gardevoir is primarily special, because that would be terrifying if it could actually use physical moves with any kind of competence. Could go for the Helping Hand boost there, but I don't think I need it. Let's see. Almost one-shot at the Granbull, not quite. You'll notice that I'm on a much better level for this fight too. That's part of why I did Mount Battle first. Okay, wasn't able to one-hit carry through Intimidate. And as a result, you get Psychic off, and you're probably... Okay, not going to one-shot me. But that is probably going to one-shot someone here, because... Yeah, Granbull... No, it didn't one-shot, nice. Yeah, I'm not used to not being 5 levels lower than everything here. I don't think either of you can learn Quick Attack, so I think I'm safe doing the same thing I did last time. You know what, let's just go for Return for good measure. Though I'd laugh if this didn't KO. No, it still did. Also, I love how Grambull's jaw just flies backwards when it gets hit. And how its jaw literally drops when it KOs. Grambull has some pretty fun animations. And Shift Tree. You're not going to like getting kicked in the face by Kickface. I'm also glad that Kickface outspeeds Gardevoir, although then again they are tied in base speed, so I shouldn't be too surprised. Just used to Gardevoirs being faster than this. Although I have seen Gardevoirs run slower spreads for Trick Room. Finally, Soul reaches level 55, no thanks to being carried by a crit Earthquake in the Mount Battle Master fight. I guess I am going to have Soul stay in here. Don't know if this will KO through Intimidate or not, but this might KO. Yeah, Soul and Kickface pretty much devastate Kale, seeing as he mostly uses Psychic, Dark, and Fighting, which is usually a pretty good trio of Pokemon. The downside is that they can get countered pretty easily by other Psychic, Dark, Fighting trios, especially if they use Shadow Ball. Well, that will do it. That'll definitely do it. Goodbye, Shift Tree. For someone who actually beat me a few times during the main story, that... Well, you know, I shouldn't sell him short. I did just beat the Mount Battle Master, who was a lot stronger than Kale, so... This battle only feels easy just by comparison to that. So, he used a Shadow Bayleef. His name was... he forgot, but he said something about the Snagem Hideout. Now, that's interesting. For now, though, I guess the quickest Pokemon Center... I guess Phoenix City is close to our destination anyway, so let's go and heal there before we take on a new area. Well, kind of a new old area. It's an area that we saw in the opening cutscene. We're finally going to the Snagem Hideout for real. It's like I said earlier in the playthrough, it's a bit annoying that most of the stuff about the protagonist being an ex-member of a villain's team is all restricted to the post-game. Which is kind of unfortunate, but, I mean, I don't know. I'd still say that actual plot is not this game's strong suit. It's more just the boss fights and the world and just the overall atmosphere and the protagonist that are the strengths of this game's story mode. And the whole Shadow Pokemon snagging system, I think that's pretty cool. That got refined a lot in XD, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. So, we can now go to the Snagem Hideout, a new location for the post-game, completely destroyed in a catastrophic explosion, which we had absolutely nothing to deal with at all. Nope, didn't have anything to do with that. So, here's something interesting. If you look over here, you might notice a little gap in that wall. We can't get to it just yet. And if we try, we get bumped back to the world map. Remember that, because that will actually change eventually. For now, though, let's head in straight through the front door. Guess we're showing Misty Jr. where we used to work. Now we got an email. So let's check out our P-Star DA again, and check our email. Bayleef Trainer. His name is Verde. Yeah, that's a great bit of information. We could have already figured that out, even if you didn't battle him earlier on in the game. So, this is the Snagem Hideout. It has its own music too, which is kind of cool. And it has some items for us to find. So we've got basically an extra dungeon here. We also have a PC here. No healing machine, but a PC is just as good as a healing machine in a pinch. Repeatedly depositing Pokemon will heal them. Now, if we try and head through here, yep, Ceiling Peon. Nor! Hey, I remember you! You're the guy I snagged the Shadow Yanma from back at the start of Mirror B's hideout. So, this is the main theme of... I probably should have switched my Pokemon, I just realized, because this is a bad lead setup for this one. I know that Ninjask has Silverwind. So this is the main gimmick of the Snagem Hideout. You'll also notice that we have a new battle background here, which is cool. But the main gimmick of this place is we're going to be seeing a lot of trainers who we fought earlier in the story who had Shadow Pokemon. If you missed any Shadow Pokemon during the main storyline, this is where you're going to get a second chance to catch them. Any trainer during the main story who had Shadow Pokemon who disappears after fighting them and couldn't be rematched, more often than not, they will be at the Snagem Hideout. So, this is the main purpose that it serves in the post-game. It's the home to just about everyone during the main story who wasn't rematchable, who had a Shadow Pokemon. So like I said, if you missed any Shadow Pokemon, you'll be able to snag them here, and the trainers here are infinitely rematchable until you catch their Shadow Pokemon. Once you do, though, you only battle them once and then that's it. Now, for the few trainers who have Shadow Pokemon who don't show up back here, that's not going to save you from Fire Blast, I don't think. But for the few trainers who don't show up here, if they're in, for example, Pyrite Town Square, you can always rematch them no matter when you are in the game. You just have to go back to Pyrite Town and fight them. For the trainers in... Oh, it's rare I see an actual in-game trainer do that. So someone's going to be getting +1 speed. Masquerade. Yeah, that's great. And you're not even part water, so you're not even resistant to this. You're still going to be weak to Ice Beam. Anyway, though, they're all still in Jewel Square. I think the trainers in Pyrite Cave are still in Pyrite Cave, and they can still be rematched. It's generally Cypher Peons. The majority of the trainers you'll be refighting here are going to be Cypher Peons, because the majority of them vanished after you beat them. Also, though, the trainers on the stairway leading into the Under Subway, they're also going to be showing up here, because they also weren't rematchables during the main game. Wow, you lost, Oh, okay, I guess it got +1 evasion. Gotta remember that Masquerade's at +1 evasion. Well, still hit it even through the +1 evasion. I was saying that someone lost something, but I don't know where I was going with that. Beautifly. So, I'm not entirely sure, but I think... maybe the Ninjask replaces the Yanma. I know that they all have replacement Pokemon if you snag their Shadow Pokemon, but I forget exactly which is the replacement on each of their teams, because their teams have changed so radically since we last fought them all. Anyway, though, you're not... I don't even need to go for Fire Blast, even though there is a PC right there, so yeah. But I'm just going to go for Return. Beautifly is another Pokemon that has a surprisingly disturbing Pokedex entry, but it's another one of those early game Butterflies that... See, I don't know, Butterfree gets a lot of flack, but I actually quite like Butterfree. Compound Ice Sleep Powder, and its stats aren't that bad for the main storyline. In fact, in Sun and Moon, I actually had a Butterfree for at least 2/3 of the main story until I found a Pokemon to replace it with. I wonder if that's the same defeat quote as before. It feels like it was, but it's been a long time since I recorded my post-commentary for that. And he vanishes. Like I said, you can rematch these trainers if you fail to snag their Shadow Pokemon, but once you do, that's it. No more rematches. I'm just going to go ahead and deposit down Green to recover his Fire Blast PP. Because that is a problem with using Fire Blast in the main storyline of a Pokemon game. 5 PP runs out pretty quickly. Especially when you have to get through this many Pokemon in other trainers' teams. Right, who am I going to be using in the lead spot? I still kind of want Sol there, but, you know, I'll switch over to Dan Green for a little bit. Most of this place pretty much leads you where you need to go. We'll be... okay then, another email. What do you have to say this time? Shadow Pokemon list. Okay, so you've analysed that and discovered 6 more. The additions are Tyranitar, got it, Misdreavus, got it, Slugma, got it, Smeargle, don't have that, Absol, got it, and Heracross, got it. So only one of those new Pokemon is relevant to us. But if we check our Snag list, we should see... Yeah, Smeargle's here now. I think anything in yellow means it's been analysed by the Snag list. Again, this really only matters if... Also, we've got question marks for the trainer here. And notice how it actually still says Verde here. I do like that touch, how we know his name, but we don't know his trainer class yet. Kale believes the trainer may be headed off to the Snagem Hideout, and we get a bit of information there. I think if you haven't caught any of these Shadow Pokemon, it will tell you where you can find the trainer to rematch them. So the Snag list is probably more relevant if you haven't been snagging everything so far. Okay, we've got more stairs there, leading up. I will mention, we do end up going to the Snagem Hideout twice. Get an elixir here. Okay, I think those stairs will lead to where we need to go, so we'll go here first. I really hope that... No, this isn't the boss's office. We'll have something to do in the boss's office later, but I'm pretty sure that that's not accessible now. Oh, hey, we got a Team Snagem member. Hi there. Well, you know who I am, at least. Team Snagem Durton. With a name like that, no wonder he joined a criminal organization. Seadra and Lanta... I shouldn't have led with Dan Green. That's always an issue when you can't really predict what Pokemon your opponent's going to be using. I usually like to lead with whoever doesn't have much experience, or whoever I haven't led with in a little while, but I suppose I can use Jump Off here, even though Jump Off's Giga Drain is actually pretty weak. It's weird how you have a level 55 Pokemon and a level 50 Pokemon. There are a couple of Team Snagem members here who are mostly new, so I will want to fight them. You can just skip straight to the train with the Shadow Pokemon if you want, but I like the experience. I'm gonna need it going into the, well, one of the post-game things. Supersonic, please. Nah. That's kind of another thing that Butterfree can do somewhat decently is Supersonic. Because with Compound Eyes, it actually is reasonably useful. I mean, it's not perfect accuracy, but it's still... That's kind of interesting. Wasn't able to one-shot a Lantern 5 levels lower than me, but I was able to one-shot a Seadra. That should really tell you just how bulky Lantern is. And hi there, Pelipper. You are not very specially bulky, so I feel confident in Psychicking you. Oh well. At least this Lantern isn't a cheat that has Earthquake. A lot of people remember that from Pokemon. I forget if it was only in Emerald or if it was also in Ruby and Sapphire. Okay, good, you didn't paralyze. And now level 53, your levels are a little bit all over the place. Although I do know that many of these trainers, they don't always lead with the same things. I think what they lead with is based on what you lead with. Either that or it's random. Starmie, a pretty impressive Pokemon. Let's just hope that I don't hit myself with confusion again. Good. Now, considering how little Espeon did, this might not finish you... Okay, I think I did finish you off. Or did I? Let's see. No, you just barely survived. That actually happens to me quite a lot in Mount Battle, so that is annoying. Okay, I'm surprised I didn't get a paralysis there. I guess, you know what, I'll just return. You might be wondering why I still have Return on Soul. 2 reasons. 1, weakening Shadow Pokemon. 2, in those times where I don't want to use PP for Psychic. And really, it's not like Espeon has much better options. With Shadow Ball being physical in this gen, Espeon really doesn't learn any special moves apart from Psychic and Hidden Power. So, there's really not much better that I can... Oh, no. Well, at least that's not Sharply Raised Evasion in this gen. But there's really not much better that I can replace Return with, so I'm kind of fine with keeping it. I mean, I would go for Helping Hand, but I also don't want a Helping Hand a Confusion. Even though it won't increase the damage done by Confusion, it would have been pretty funny if it did, but... More like, I don't want to be wasting my Helping Hand. You've hit yourself, at least twice out of 3, I think. Uh-oh. Jumpluff, please survive that. No. I did restock on revives. Oh yeah, that's something that I should mention. I did do a bit of shopping off camera. I bought more Pokeballs, mainly more Ultra Balls, but also a couple more Net Balls, because we might be needing those later. You'll need even more Net Balls if you didn't snag Croconaw earlier in the game, because Croconaw will... I guess I should mention that. The trainers that you need to fight in the post-game depend on who you caught during the main story when it came to your Shadow Starter, the Shadow Johto Starter. So that Minimizer's not going to save you. So, because I picked Croconaw, I'll be getting Bayleef and Quilava here. But if you picked Quilava, you'll be getting Bayleef and Croconaw, and if you pick Bayleef, you'll be getting Quilava and Croconaw, so... wasted! It's just kind of a weird line. I don't think that day will be coming anytime soon. Like, I really should just be going back to the PC to heal, but no, I'll go ahead and use a... Where are my revives? Also, this music is pretty nice. You might remember, though, it did play earlier in the main story. Well, very earlier in the main story, when we first encountered Team Snagem after... we exited the 3 PP ups. Actually, now that I think about it, remember what I was saying before? Let's fix Fire Blast PP issue. Because I'm probably going to be keeping that for the rest of the game. I think 3 PP ups is enough. Yeah, 8. 8 is its maximum. I'll be taking you on that staircase later. But yeah, it is kind of weird that you heard this song during the main story for that, but you didn't hear it at all until the post-game after that. Okay, there's a random rider there. Go ahead and grab that max potion. Well, 3 max potions. I guess we can battle you. So yeah, people are basically just here to loot the ruins of the Snagem Hideout. I kind of like how they explain why all these trainers have congregated here. Poochyena this late in the game? Really? I mean, that would have actually been unacceptable earlier in the game too, because the lowest levels were around 25 to 30, and I think Poochyena evolves quite early, like at level 20 or something, but... seriously, you need to reevaluate your life if you have a level 54 Poochyena. Let's just try and get rid of that Poochyena, and let's, I don't think Return will KO, but I guess we'll see how much damage it does. Oh, it did KO! Nice! I think Soul is probably... actually, wait, no, Soul starts out with max happiness, so obviously it's at max happiness for that. Linoon. Well, that's definitely better than Poochyena. This guy, I think, is totally optional. He wasn't... I don't think we ever fought him during the main story. And one-shotted. And Poochyena practices its sit trick. So even the experience you give is pathetic. Okay, you actually do have a Mightyena, that's a bit more impressive. Even though Mightyena, it's kind of a shame, for such a cool-looking Pokemon, its stats are still pretty mediocre. mean, I used one back in my challenge run of Alpha Sapphire, due to being paired with my starter, my Sceptile, and Clarinet, she actually did pretty well. But, I don't know, later on in the game I probably wouldn't really use a Mightyena. It's not really one of my favorite early game Pokemon. I mean, it does look very cool, and it does have Intimidate, but other than that, it's just such a shame that such a cool-looking Pokemon is just really not that strong. Yes, and you can't have them, sorry. You're also not giving very much money for this point in the game, too. Well, fight some Cypher admins. They're actually still large at this point, so... Anyway, as you can see here, that's all we can do here. Now, there's another staircase that I want to check out, though. Leads back down to the first floor. In fact, I think this is actually the wrong way. Still kind of getting my bearings here. Also, weird zoomed-in camera angle. No, this does lead upstairs. Okay, I think this path is more relevant later. 2 max revives. Definitely some nice items here. Yeah, go ahead and try. Neither. Rhyhorn and Grovyle. Again, more unevolved Pokemon this late into the game, which is kind of disappointing. I'll use Down Green and Soul just for this one fight, and then they'll be level 56, so I should probably switch them out. After kind of struggling a bit with Mount Battle, it feels good to actually have some easy fights finally. Although I should be careful with how powerful I am, because a bit of a heads up, the Shadow Pokemon that we need to snag here, it's exactly the same as it was if you had gone for it at the beginning of the game, which means it's still going to be level 30. Now that we're around level 55, that's going to be bad, because we could accidentally knock it out very easily. So, I'm going to watch out for that. It's very easy to rematch this trainer if you fail to snag, but I don't want to do that because obviously I want to keep these all in one take if possible. Zangoose. I've said it before, but I actually quite like Zangoose in this generation. Let's just go for a return, I guess. Kind of funny how Zangoose has a big M symbol on it. Makes me feel like Maxie should have had one. But, I don't know. I always felt like Maxie's team was kind of... Both Maxie and Archie, I found them both really easy because their signature Pokemon, Camerupt is 4 times weak to water and Sharpedo is incredibly frail. So either one, they tend to go down quite easily. Even with the Mega Buff in Aurus, they still go down pretty easily. I mean, they got a cool battle background, but that was pretty much it. Okay, I am running low on Psychic PP, should watch out for that. That's 2 things I've carried with return here. So like I said, I'll probably be swapping these 2 out now, giving some other people some experience. But again, it is kind of weird that you don't find any Snagem grunts during the main storyline. Feels like, well, apart from the first 2, it feels like they really should have done that a little bit just to... Let's see who can I use here. I guess Kickface. Sort of want more offensive Pokemon here, just because I want to get through these small fry as fast as possible. Ah, yes, here is the boss's hideout, and that there is... It's hard to see, but that's the Japanese character for Steel. Also, in XD at least, all of the Snagger members have that on the back of their shirt, so... Kind of feel like they maybe should have tried to localize that or something, but I don't know. 3 rare candies. This, by the way, is Gonzap's office, but he's not here at the moment. So I guess I'll cut back to the other staircase. Okay, so here we are. This is the staircase that we want. This is leading towards the end of the hideout. Okay, right, that's another trainer here. I remember this room. I always wondered what the purpose of this room was. It looks like some kind of a prison. Well, I will prove it to you, even though I didn't have many of these Pokemon back when I first did this. I remember this NPC is annoying because he loves to get in the way of you getting that item. Spinder? You're using a Spinder. I feel very, very bad for you. Does that Spinder have like a big continuous stripe across its face though? Kind of looks like it. And, well, yeah, Surf, High Jump Kick. Unless High Jump Kick misses, this should finish these two. Sorry, Spinder. Base 60 everything is just really not that good. I mean, it's cool for collecting purposes, though. Especially if you manage to get a shiny Spinder, then you've got a Pokemon that's a 1 in 8,000 of 1 in 4 billion. So, the chance of two people having identical shiny Spinders is, well, let's just say it's probably not going to happen. One of those things that are probably like if like, people caught one Spinder per second, it'd still take years in order for them to, on average, get 2 identical shiny Spinders. I wonder if someone could even calculate that kind of thing, but I don't know. I kind of want to try and Shadow Ball just to see if that'd one-shot the Kavana anyway, but no, let's just go for High Jump Kick. This is probably a 1-hit KO twice over. Again, more unevolved Pokemon this late into the game. Shelgon is at least somewhat different from its evolved form, though, so it's at least somewhat of a decent Pokemon to be seeing. Kind of a shame there's no Shadow Bag on Shelgon or Salamence in this game. Then again, that would kind of steal the Shadow Vibrava spotlight. Well, yeah, pretty much. Rampage is probably Kickface's middle name. Master Kickface Rampage something. But you're going to Rampage no more for a bit. I'm going to switch Luna in. You... See, this is why I hate this guy. He's... I think I remember even a walkthrough was, there we go. 2 Max Ethers. That, I think, is probably some kind of prototype for, like, to display the Snag machine on. And there's some notes there, but we can't actually read them. Oh, great. Between Misty Jr. and that guy. I really hope I haven't got myself into a Twitch Plays Pokemon. Okay, good. Twitch Plays Pokemon Cinnabar Mansion incident. That's interesting. Someone snagged your Shadow Pokemon. From your name, I don't think it was me, so... we'll probably deal with that later. Either that or this guy's just lying. And it's going to be a good fight for Suicune anyway. So, let's just... I don't even need Rain Dance. Going to go for Surf and, guess Feint Attack. You're faster than everything on the field? Nice. Please don't flinch me. Okay, good, it didn't flinch. Not that it would really matter, but still, would be annoying. Would just drag out this battle a bit longer. Are you gonna survive that, or just barely? Nice. I'm complimenting my opponent, but, I guess it's nice to do that sometimes. You're still not as impressive as that AI trainer who actually used Hidden Power Fire Mischievous to buff his own Ninetales with Flash Fire. That is something that I never expected to see the AI ever do. I'd use Moonlight here because I know that... Actually, wait, I don't think Sweeping is going to finish off the Linoon. Okay, I'm glad you're not on red health. Yeah, the thing about Flail and Reversal is, if you're not at literally 1 HP, their power is not that good. They have 200 power at 1 HP, but you've got to be at 1 exactly in order to get the best benefits out of them. Gen 3 was pretty much the last generation where Reversal or Flail were actually somewhat decently used. Due to the lack of, well, I mean, there was Tyranitar, but there was a lot less priority moves in Gen 3. I remember a lot of people were quite surprised when Gen 4 introduced a lot of new priority moves. Wheezing. I think people at first were calling Gen 4 the priority generation, and then, well, then we all knew what it ended up becoming, the entry hazard generation. It's kind of like because people said, like, Gen 2 was the staller generation, Gen 3 was apparently the sweeper generation, but I never played any kind of multiplayer in Gen 3. The closest I got to doing competitive was Battle Frontier. I did EV train a few Pokemon, but I mean, it was probably a good thing that I didn't do any actual multiplayer, because sadly that was one of those generations where you really had to hack if you wanted good IVs, because, yeah, IV breeding was almost impossible in Generation 3. I did manage to get myself a few 31 IV Dittos back in Gen 3, but it was pure luck whether they actually transferred them down, because there were no power items to to guarantee IV transfer and breeding. So that was pretty annoying. You could still transfer nature with it. In fact, wait a minute, wasn't the Everstone nature transferring only an emerald? I think it was only an emerald. And it required you to give the Everstone to only the female could pass down the nature. It wasn't until later that they made it so that both genders could pass down the nature. One day I might, I'm just trying to think, I haven't thought of good subjects for Pokemon history lesson videos, but one thing I might want to do in the future is one on breeding, because breeding mechanics have changed quite a lot ever since Gen 2. Breeding's been different in many generations, so I'd like to cover all of the little changes that have gone on with breeding. I wouldn't really be calling me that unless I use one at KO moves or things like that. Okay, I'm probably using Jumpluff at just the right time. I really don't want to have to waste a full restore, but I guess I got some max potions. Probably should just be going back to the PC to heal here, but I'm almost done with this place. This, I believe, is the first... Hi there, Snagem Grunt. You can just walk past most of these... Fuston! That's an even worse name than Durton. But... And that's an even worse Pokemon than what Durden used, but yeah. You can just walk past these guys without battling them, but I want to battle all of them. I like to show all the battles in this game, and again, getting the experience helps, because we're soon going to be fighting some pretty high-level Pokemon. So, let's see, actually, Jumpluff is going to be bad here. Everyone else is level 56, but I guess I could send in Dangreen. Yes, I have to say that it like that every time. That's a prerequisite. Probably should focus on that Swellow. Go, Dan Green! I can do everything because I'm voiced by Dan Green! Sadly, this was pretty much the best flying move you had access to in Gen 3. Yeah, that was something about Gen 3 that was a bit annoying and competitive. A lot of Pokemon relied on hidden powers, even physical ones. So, for example, many flying types would run Hidden Power Flying because it was actually one of the best flying moves it got, because Hidden Power could potentially go up to 70 power in Gen 3, not just 60. I'm so glad that it works the way it does now, because, so, back in the day, Hidden Powers... It wasn't just Hidden Power's type that was dependent on your IVs, it was also its power. Hidden Power could have anything from 30 power to 70, depending on what your IVs were, and, oh man, it was annoying. It was another one of those reasons why I didn't really like simulators all that much, because, back then, with a simulator, you could just choose what Hidden Power you had. You could just be like, oh, I want Hidden Power Flying with 70 base power, I can just choose to have it. And in some cases, you'd need to sacrifice a few IVs to do that. I know that Jolteon, in order to run things like Hidden Power, Ice, or Grass, sometimes had to sacrifice one of its speed IVs, I forget, but anyway. The point is that you could just pick and choose your Hidden Power. In-game, doing that was almost impossible. Seriously, good luck getting a decent Hidden Power. Oh no, that's bad. That's really bad, actually. Endeavor sets the target's HP to whatever your HP currently is. It's great for catching legendary Pokemon if you go in at 1 HP, but it can be a pain if you reduce something to really, really low health and have to fight them like this and they keep endeavoring you. But yeah, in-game, it was almost impossible to get Hidden Power with the right power and type, so I'm really glad they changed how Hidden Power works later on. Now it's just the type you have to worry about in terms of IVs, rather than the actual power. So now it's only 60 now, but I'm actually kind of glad for that. Anyway. I wonder if that Golbat will outspeed. It might. We'll see. Golbat is one of those Pokemon that, since Crobat was introduced, I've completely forgotten Golbat's stats, but there's something kind of weird. I know they're different than what I usually remember. It's sort of balanced all round, I think, which is sort of weird, because Crobat's more of a fast, fragile, kind of weak attacker, but it's mainly all about speed. Usually needs to use sword stance. All of the Team Snag and Grunt have very weird defeat lines. But yeah, usually needs to use sword stance in order to do decent damage. Or it's a supporter. Anyway, I'll just leave it with that. I probably need to use a few more max potions. Actually, I probably don't need that many. Because we've got the Shadow Bayleef coming up. There's no way I'm using Dan Green against that. So here, I think... Yeah, this is a really big prototype snag machine by the looks of it. It's almost a Team Rocket style machine. You can imagine them trying to use that to snag people's Pokemon, but this is probably the early prototype before they actually made a portable version. But we're almost out. Yep, we can see the green guy. Hi there, and he's just randomly walking around. So, let's go ahead and... Who have I got in the lead? I have Jumpluff. I might want to save Jumpluff for a bit because I don't think he sends out the Bayleef immediately. Anyway, this is what we were here for. And yeah, I could have battled you all the way back then if fate was different. Oh no, there is something I'm here for. I am here for you! Hopefully you won't disappoint me. So, it's time to fight Cyberpeon Verde. Again, we technically didn't fight him before. Oh, he did lead with the Bayleef. Well, I can at least focus down his other Pokemon. Just gotta make sure I don't attack the Bayleef by accident. So, Misty Jr. gets to use her powers of... It's really Aura reading, basically. Misty Jr. was effectively an Aura user before Aura was a thing. And like I said, I'm going to just go ahead and focus down the other Pokemon here. As tempting as it is to use Secret Power, I don't think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and snag that Bayleef at full health if possible. Or just use not very effective moves. Jumpluff's Giga Drain probably shouldn't KO. There, you've got the Grumpig from earlier. Well, it was a Spoink earlier. Again, I technically didn't fight this guy at the start of the game. I did on an alternate save file. You still have the Muck from earlier. Well, it was a Grimer back then. But he actually has at least one more trick up his sleeve, I think. Probably need to solve that Muck. Or I just let the Bayleef weaken itself with Shadow Rush. It's not really at much risk of carrying itself. Actually, something that I should mention, when it comes to catching Shadow Pokemon in the post-game, just gotta make sure my hand doesn't slip here. When it comes to catching Shadow Pokemon in the post-game, something that a lot of people like to do is, you can transfer from one of your GBA games a Pokemon that has False Swipe and a Sleep move. Breloom and Parasect are good examples of that. However, False Swipe might not be a good idea against Shadow Pokemon in this game, because if you get them down to 1 HP and they wake up from sleep, Shadow Rush will knock themselves out. So, I'd probably recommend just using a low-level Pokemon with a Sleep move. So yeah, normally, like I said, that would be good, but here, not so much. So as you can see, there is one extra Pokemon that he has waiting in the wings. Now, I think it's either a Camerupt or a Sharpedo. It depends on what his... Actually, wait a minute. No, I think he has both of... No, he has only got 3 Pokemon left. So once I take out the Muck, he'll have Bayleef from the other, so he only has one of them. My guess is that if he's got Bayleef, he'll want to cover Fire type, so he's probably got Sharpedo, so I'm going to aim a High Jump Kick at that slot and see if I... Actually, no, I can't do that because Kick Face is faster than Luna, so I have to instead just go for the Shadow Ball and just aim the... I guess I can aim Secret Power at that slot. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Sharpedo. So yeah, quickly taking care of his other Pokemon just to clear the field. Don't want that Muck out while I have Jumpluff out. And yeah, guess right, it was a Sharpedo. Let's see how much damage this does with your pathetic defenses. Yeah, that's a lot of damage, and that's why I'm not using that on Bayleef. Paralysis. Well, I guess we are inside a building. That's usually the effect of Secret Power inside a building. And since all competitive battles are considered to be taking place inside a building, unless you're in Battle Revolution, when it has a different effect in every Colosseum, and unless you're in this game, where it also has a different effect in every Colosseum, you're probably just going to be seeing paralysis through Secret Power, although nobody in their right mind would use Secret Power in competitive anyway, because return is so much better. And even if you're going for the paralysis, Body Slam outclasses it. Yeah, I thought you'd survive just barely. Please tell me that Sharp Hitter doesn't have Earthquake, because if it does, I'm going to get very, very mad. I just suddenly thought of that, and now I'm worried. Please don't use Earthquake. Okay, well, I guess we'll never know if you were going to use that or not. And I'm so glad that Sleep Powder is not operating on future gen mechanics, where grass types would be immune to— well, you might as well have been immune to it there. Did I mention this before, but I like how Umbreon's rings glow while it's in battle. I think according to its Pokédex entry, they apparently secrete poison. I always like that detail because Umbreon is a Pokemon that you see using Toxic often. Even though every Pokemon can learn Toxic. Oh, speaking of Body Slam. Let's go for Sleep Powder and... see, here I probably just want to Call. Or I could just randomly throw an Ultra Ball. We didn't have access to Ultra Balls back at the beginning of the game, so let's see if this Snag succeeds or not. And I'll still be counting even though I don't need to sync up the videos anymore. 1, 2, 3. Bayleef gets! I didn't even need Sleep Powder. I won't be showing the bios here, I already showed those earlier in the game, so at this point you're not likely to really be using these Pokemon in your main party. You get a lot more money. They're more for completion purposes. So yeah, as we can tell, there are more Shadow Pokemon trainers left. We still have no further leads on that Smeargle, but when we leave the Snagem Hideout, we now have access to a little more of this area, and we can skip straight into this entrance. Why we couldn't do that at the very beginning, I don't know, and it would have made our search a lot easier, but I guess we had to do things the hard way. Let me just check something though. If you try and go back to the Snagem Hideout from the map... we've got an email. Okay, yeah, you can only access that entrance if you've previously left through there. Anyway, let's check out what our email was. I think that's going to be leading us into our second post-game quest. Oh, no, more of the Shadow Pokemon list. Okay, Ursaring, don't have that. Skiploom, got it. Quagsire, got it. Tropius, got it. Skarmory, got it. And Sunflora, got it. So, again, only Ursaring is the one we're missing. So, currently, we have Smeargle and Ursaring unaccounted for. And I'm going to go out and go back in again, because I think we have another email we need to get. No, not yet. Guess I'll just go back to Phoenix City to heal. So, that is our first post-game Shadow Pokemon Snag. There will be a few more. Ah, there's the second email. Was waiting for that one. Trouble in Under. Yes, that is the next part of this quest. So I've been hearing about a Shadow Pokemon from people visiting the Under from Pyrite. Net in the Under should have more information for you. So, the Under is our next destination. For now, though, I'm just going to go ahead and heal in the Pokemon Center, and I'll see you next time for the next post-game quest. Which actually, if I do everything right, is going to be much shorter than this one, so I don't know what I'll be filling the rest of that video with. We'll see. In fact, it's possible if that's really short, I might end up showing it in this part. But anyway, with that, we have snagged Bayleef. So, I'll see you next time for our next Shadow Pokemon post-game snag.